Hello everyone, welcome to Physiotherapy in Lesotho, www.physioinlesotho.ch. You are listening to a podcast from one of our physio workshop in Lesotho. Your speaker is Thuso, W. Fasser, a qualified physiotherapist.
Okay, now welcome to Fasser. We go on now with the talk about neuropathology, on that very special neuropathology, on this degeneration of the nerves, of that damage of the function of the nerves, which we can call neuropathy. And we were learning yesterday this type of neuropathology called neuropathy. It's a term which includes different types of neuropathy. That means different types of damage to the peripheral nerves. We said neuropathy is damage of the function of the nerve, of the peripheral nerve. That means nerves from the neck down to the hand, from the spine to the chest to the belly, and from the lumbar spine down to the foot. Peripheral nerve. It's somehow a peripheral nerve damage, pathology of peripheral nerve. And we understood yesterday that this type of pathology is different one to another. It's different because it can be the motor fiber, that means muscle activity is disturbed. It can be the sensory fiber, that means that somehow the sensation is disturbed, pain and ugly sensation. Or the autonomic fiber is disturbed, that means problem of circulation. And we can say there is even a mixed pathology, so you have a mixture of all that. That means that person, as we saw the patient yesterday, she had ugly sensation in the arm, pins and needles, numbness and pain. She had some difficulties to move, to use the fingers properly, and then she has a problem of circulation. That finger was so cold. So she had a mixed type of neuropathy. That means these peripheral nerves were combined with that pathology, and she had different type of symptoms. So neuropathology means there is some sickness of the nerve, and when we talk about this neuropathy, then we talk about it's a peripheral nerve problem. It's not in the brain, it's not in the spinal cord, it's in the peripheral nerve, and there we have these different types. And we said yesterday, we can have just one nerve with that sickness, so we call it mononeuropathy. Let's say radial nerve of the arm after torture, and then we get this problem of that nerve. So it's mononeuropathy. We said we can have polyneuropathy, that means many nerves. Let's say that woman yesterday, she had medium nerve, ulnar nerve, and radial nerve involved in that problem. So she has a polyneuropathy. And then we had that more seldom situation where we say we have multiple mononeuropathy. That means one nerve maybe on the arm, one nerve in the face, one nerve in the leg in the same time. This means many mononeuropathy. So therefore we call it multiple mononeuropathy. A mononeuropathy quite often comes from trauma. Polyneuropathy quite often comes from age, old age, or some sickness or medicines. The multiple neuropathy very often is something viral, somehow an infection, something is going wrong in the body. We said neuropathy has to be diagnosed by the doctor. The doctor has to understand what is the cause of this nerve problem. Because we could see 1 in 3 is an idiopathic neuropathy. We don't know why, it's just coming. 1 of 3 is diabetes patient, has a diabetic neuropathy, as our patient yesterday. And 1 out of 3 has an acquired neuropathy, maybe due to a disease like HIV, maybe due to drugs, drug-related neuropathy. maybe due to metabolism, that something in metabolism is going wrong, malnutrition, or it's just a viral disease. So there are many causes of neuropathy, and to be able to treat neuropathy nicely, the doctor has to do the medical check and to stabilize which treatment, which medicine that patient needs. To treat effectively neuropathy, we have to tackle as well the term of nutrition. We said malnutrition leads easy to neuropathy. And if somebody maybe has HIV, he's under ART treatment, and he's not nourishing nicely his body, so it will be more likely that this neuropathy is developing much more. So nutrition advice has to be given, and we were talking about that special nutrition these people need. And then the third dimension of treatment is physiotherapy. So neuropathy should be treated by medical means with the medicines, by nutrition advices, and by physiotherapy. So it's three dimensions which we are looking at it. So for treatment, we will go into that now, and the treatment of the different type of neuropathy we see. Treatment in physiotherapy. We said we will do movements to them, passive, assisted, active movement to stimulate the muscles, the balance, etc. We will do sensory stimulation. We give a stimuli to the nerves that they work properly. Let's say we give them we rub in on the arm, we are using the salt water bath and we rub with salt the body. We are doing stretching that the muscles are stretched and they have more sensory input and so on. We do massage. And then we are treating the circulation. If there is too less circulation, it means that finger is too cold. We do something to improve it. That means we can do an activating massage, or we give them a warm water bath. If the hand, let's say, or the foot is hot, patient is saying it's so hot at night, I cannot sleep. So that means it's a circulatory problem. We will cool down that foot. We'll take off that excessive heat of the foot. So circulation is influenced by hot and cold water bath, by massaging, and by movements again. If somebody has a weak circulation, the best medicine for it is movement. Let's remember that. So when we talk about physiotherapy and neuropathy, we are talking about applying movements, applying massage, using cold water bath, doing special exercise with them, doing balance exercise. All that we do with these people. And whatever we can, we teach to them that they can do it every day at home. Because this neuropathy is always there, so we can help them. This is one dimension of physiotherapy. We are working with the body. Now, let's name another dimension. When we have a patient with chronic pain, a neuropathy patient, they become chronic and they have, for a long time, they have this pain. So when we have a chronic pain situation, we have to know that somehow in the brain, that pain becomes remembered. There is a pain memory. If you have a chronic pain, after 3-4 weeks, somehow in the pain system in the brain, that pain becomes autonomous. Sorry. This pain becomes somehow normal. And we can suffer by this memory of pain. Every chronic pain will be organized in our brain in the pain system and becomes independent. Therefore, we have to work on that as well. A neuropathy patient with a chronic pain is sometimes listening all the time to that pain. And by listening to that pain, he's not focusing on other things. Sorry, my phone. So the brain is listening to that pain. So somehow the pain is always there, and the patient is concentrating on the pain without, he doesn't like to do that. It's not something they want to do. It happens. So when somebody has a chronic pain, it's very important we help to distract that person, to not listen all the time to that pain. So that we have to do other things. This morning when we did now the exercise, we were concentrating on many other things, okay? I said, let's do that movement. Try to stand up like this. Go together and stand up like this. So we were focusing on movement. If you have a chronic pain and you are in such an exercise class and you focus strongly on movements, you will have more distance to that pain. When you focus on movement, somehow you get away from that remembered pain and it helps you to come out. It's very similar, we know all that, if we have problems at home, okay? Maybe there's a big problem at home. We are always thinking of that problem. We go to work and we're still thinking of that problem at home. Until something is challenging us really. And then we are concentrating on that what is challenging us. And we get somehow a distance to that problem at home. And it helps, it's a relief. Can you agree? Yes. So we can even distract us from pain. Chronic pain tends to be remembered all the time. So we need to distance. So we need to help this patient to concentrate on other things. Let's say we do exercise with them and we help them to just go a little bit away from that pain. Or we give them exercise and I say, now feel your foot, feel your knee. Now just lying down, feel comfortable, breathe in, breathe out. Feel how your belly is moving during that breathing exercise. So I give them little tasks where they are shifting the perception. Perception has to be shifted from pain to something else. Maybe to other body sensations, to movements and so on. So every chronic pain tends to be remembered and our brain, the consciousness, tends to listen to that pain. This is normal. So in therapy, we have to help to distract from that mechanism. I'm talking about chronic pain. In acute pain, it's not the same, but in chronic. So we help with exercises to distance the patient from that pain. Now, I would like to show you in the different neuropathy what we are doing in physiotherapy and where you really have to focus when you do the body work. Please, one of you is my model here. Neuropathy on the upper part, on the arm. Remember, the nerves from the arm, they are coming from the neck. Lower neck, then they go in here, they're passing here behind the clavicle. This is the neurobrachial plexus. They come in here, and then they go down. Radial nerve comes here, goes here on the back, and then it comes here, this part. Medium nerve comes in here, there, and then it goes here. And ulnar nerve is down here, on this part. Now, when we have a hand which has tickling all over, when all 5 fingers are tickling, that means the 3 nerves are involved. And most likely, we have pressure up here. Because when there is pressure and tension on these muscles on the shoulder girdle, and here from the neck down to the chest, when we have pressure and tensions here, that neuroplexus is somehow disturbed and develops the problem down here. So when you see a patient, he says, oh, it's tingling in my hand, all 5 fingers, then remember, most likely it comes from up here. Neck and shoulder girdle. So that means we work a lot on the neck, on the shoulder girdle. We do even this type of stretching. by massaging the shoulder girdle behind the clavicle. We go in here as well. Just go behind the pectoral muscle. This is pectoral coming from here, so I'm just going in it here. And you work really here, because you can come close to the nerves. And if there are the tension in the tissue, you can loosen it. During that massage and mobilization treatment, patient will report sensations in the hand. They say, oh, now my tingling is coming. Oh, I don't feel my fingers anymore. Don't be worried. That means you are on the right spot. You are moving the nerves and you are increasing even the symptoms for a moment. This is a confirmation you are on the right spot. Don't worry, go on. So you work a lot in this situation. Neck, shoulder girdle massage. You go behind pectoral muscle in here and you work out this tissue. And then the patient will do exercise like this. You come with both hands behind the neck. This type of stretching, or just lying on the back having the arms like this. And during the day she should put the hands on the head like this, because when you do like this, you loosen the tension here on the plexus. When you do like this exercise, try, the nerves are somehow relieved. The nerves are somehow relieved. So you do that a few times during the day and symptoms will become better. If you have only the problem maybe on the back of the forearm and the patient cannot extend the fingers properly, maybe here on the back of the hand, they report problem. So it's most likely radial nerve. Radial nerve is here on the back of the humerus here. And it's quite exposed here. So we will work a lot on the back of humerus, and then here on this muscle, on the extensor muscle, because the nerve is going in here and comes here. So you will massage a lot here, and you will do this type of stretching. I hold her like this. We will do it practically and later. The hand, you turn, and now, can you feel the stretch? Now, when the tissue is shortened, she would automatically do like this, come up with the shoulder. Therefore, my arm is lying here. Can you feel your shoulders moving a bit?
Yeah.
I hold it down, you feel the difference?
Yeah.
So I hold here, and then I stretch. We do this type of stretching. We are stretching the extensor muscles of the hand. So you're loosening that nerve, if it is a radial problem. And then of course we give them the exercise as we know it from the boys who have the drop hands after being tortured here. If you have only on the little finger, maybe the second one, pins and needle, and the problem comes from ulnar nerve. And if you bend your elbow, the inside, we all know it when we bang it, maybe on a table, you feel that nasty pain here. Because here the nerve comes through. Just make like this, please. Go along the little finger until you arrive on the elbow. Can you feel the bone there?
Yes.
And there is something like a little hole behind. This is sulcus ulnaris. That means there the nerve, ulnar nerve, is passing by. And very often we have just a little bit above here. We have the problem, or just after that little tunnel where the nerve is going through. Here. Here or above, very often the tissue is tight here and is creating somehow this neuropathy. So when we have ulnar symptoms, we always treat neck and shoulder girdle, but then work a lot here, next to the elbow. If you have a swelling, take off that swelling with massage. If it is hard, make the tissue flexible, move that tissue. Move the tissue. If it is more towards the hand, move the tissue here. And then the stretching is this one we did yesterday. I'm bending the hand like this, and then I'm stretching like this. So she will have the stretch here. If we have medium nerve, that means this finger, this finger, this finger, and here. When she says it's only this one, we reported for 3 fingers, the nerve is passing here. Very often the problem is here. If that patient says, only my fingers, up there is nothing, easily the problem is here on carpal tunnel. It can be as well here next to the elbow in this muscle. The woman yesterday, she had a bit of tight muscle here, and when I stretched into supination, she had symptoms. That means that muscle who is making pronation movement is too tight and is squeezing her median nerve. So therefore, even if it's a diabetic patient, I'm working here on that muscle because I understood that muscle is too tight and is increasing her symptoms. So in a medium nerve problem, normally you have here on carpal tunnel a problem, or on the elbow. So when it is carpal tunnel, we do as we said yesterday, we are massaging here, we take off that swelling, we are making the tissue more soft, we are massaging here to the thumb because the main nerve branch comes up here, and we massage here, just making soft, soft, soft. And here close to the elbow, these muscles. And the stretching will be the same. You do like this, and we come. So I just give you an overview now. We have to do that practically to understand with our hands. But I want to give you an overview that you can see. We have to know where the nerves are going through, and then we understand as well how we can treat them. Now let's talk about neuropathy of the leg. It's much more common on the leg. If you have this bilateral neuropathy, that means on both feet neuropathy, always treat nicely the low back. Always treat nicely low back. The buttocks and the leg. But start on the low back. As when we have neuropathy on the arm, we start on the leg. Now can you stand up please? This. So the lumbar nerves, they go out here. And then they go to the buttock. And then they go a little bit outside, sciatic nerve. And then they are running down here. And above the knee, they split. And then you have a nerve which is going more on the outside, and a nerve which is going more on the inside down. Where is normally the soft tissue problem for this nerve? It's straight on the back itself, and then here outside on the buttock. In this place here, and we will show you, quite often you have tensions. And there is even a muscle, we will call it, it's the piriform muscle. Nerve is going through that muscle. And when that muscle is tight, it's squeezing the nerve. Very often, a chronic neuropathy on the foot has a component where up here in the buttock you find a very tender spot and it's blocking that nerve. So this is a critical point here, just behind trochanter here. And then another critical spot is here above the knee. Very often, a little lateral of the knee, above the knee, we find this tight spot. And when we move that tissue, things go better. And then down here in the, how do you call it, the clavu? Clav, yes. Then you have sometimes tight spot where these muscles are somehow complicated. Okay, you can see that. When we work on the arm, we always work neck, shoulder girdle, and then the arm hand. When we work on the leg, we start always lumbar spine, buttock region, and then we go along the nerve down there. You can see that. Take the chair. Is it